Good morning, fight fans. I am speaking today with Robert Valentin, UFC middleweight tough 32 finalist, fighting Torrez Finney at UFC Vegas 105, April 5th at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. Robert, you just told me you've been in Vegas for about a week or so now. You live, full-time in Thailand otherwise. So how is everything ahead of this one? How's the fight camp been?
Fight camp been amazing. I've been working with the Hickman brothers over in Bangtao in Phuket. It's been quite some time since I know my opponent, so we had a lot of time to prepare for this one. I'm really excited for this matchup, for this opportunity. I think it's a big opportunity UFC gives me with this fight, fighting someone who has like a little bit of hype behind his name because of the Contender Series. And I'm very itchy to get in there, and I'm super excited. I cannot wait.
Well, lots of stuff I want to ask you about the fight, about Tough 32. I want to start with, we saw a major earthquake in Myanmar, and it hit Bangkok as well. So is everybody good, back in Thailand that you know?
Everybody that I know is good, yeah.
Good to hear. Good stuff.
Yeah, I hope the best for them.
Definitely scary. Glad to hear that your folks are okay. Let's get to something that I thought of ahead of this. I mean, your last fight was the Ultimate Fighter 32 finale. Didn't go the way that you'd hoped, obviously, but that was on a UFC card. Do you look at that as your debut, or are you looking at this fight more as your UFC debut?
I think no. This fight is my debut because the last fight was still kind of feeling like the Ultimate Fighter. It's we were wearing the Ultimate Fighter shorts, Ultimate Fighter gloves, even though everything else was on the UFC card. I feel like this is my real debut for the UFC now. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask about the pressure. We talk a lot in the media about pressure, and obviously we don't fight, so we don't fully understand it. But there's the pressure of being on the Ultimate Fighter 32 and being in the finale, and then there's the pressure of making your debut in the UFC and to an even larger audience. So does it feel different? Did one prepare you for the other?
Yes, it definitely feels different, and I have to say, so I think in the last fight, I let this pressure take over me. And for this fight, the motto for the fight camp also was, remember that your past self would have died to be here. So enjoy it. And it's an amazing opportunity and an amazing experience. And my younger self would have, done everything to be in this moment here. So I love to fight. I love to be in there. So I try to make it about that again and go out there and enjoy myself and not let this pressure take over.
When we talk about getting to this moment, of course, you had to go through the Ultimate Fighter 32 to do it. What were your biggest takeaways from the show? What did you learn from that experience?
So many different things. On one side, I definitely learned to focus on myself, not to focus too much on your opponents, because you don't really know who you're gonna fight. So obviously, preparing for an opponent is always good, knowing your opponent. But this show also taught me to just do what I do best, focus on my strength, and that gets you far. On the other side, what I also learned, and that's coming from the coach of my team, Alexa Grasso, is just the pure humbleness and warm-hearted aura that this woman has while being a champion at that time, even though now she's not anymore. But she was just a sweet little angel, and despite being UFC champion, she didn't let it get to her head. And staying grounded and staying humble, and that was also a big lesson I took from this season.
That's very cool to hear. Do you stay in touch with any of your castmates, teammates from the show, or any of the coaches?
Oh yeah, big time. So we bonded in this show, and will keep that. Just recently, Paddy McCory, the guy I fought in the semi-finale, and Tommy, they came to Thailand. They visited me in Thailand. We had some training together. We hung out together. And when I'm here in Vegas, I'm very close with Myron Santos. We also bonded very deeply in the season, and we remain in a very close friendship. And Alexa, I saw her just the other day in the PI. I stay also in touch with her coaches, with Diego Lopez and her uncle. And yeah, I think this is a bond that was created and that will last for a lifetime.
Well, that's awesome. And of course, Diego Lopez title fight coming up. Alexa has a big fight in Montreal as well. I want to ask you one last question about The Ultimate Fighter, and then we'll move on to your current fight. But what was the hardest part of the show? Because there's the fights, like you mentioned, there's doing weight cuts real close together, there's being isolated kind of from your friends and family. What was the hardest part of that experience?
To be honest, like if you say it like this, it sounds, but for me, it wasn't hard. Actually, when people ask me until today, I say it was the best time of my life. I enjoyed every single day. And yeah, I really, the hardest part was maybe that I had to leave again because I would get so comfortable in that house. And I was really in my happy place, only having to focus on training and on fighting and no distractions, no other BS around you. So I have to really say, for some people it was a prison. For me, it was a temple. I really enjoyed it.
I gotta say, I've talked to a number of fighters who have been through The Ultimate Fighter. You might be the first one who's that positive about it, but that is very cool to hear.
Yeah.
This, of course, has landed you a spot in the UFC, and you are now going to fight Torrez Finney in about a week's time now at the Apex. He's undefeated. He came through the Contender Series, kind of the other entryway into the UFC at this point. 3 appearances on the show. Obviously, the UFC saw something. He won all 3. Didn't get the contract the first two times, but they brought him back. They saw something in him. Were you familiar with him before this fight was booked? And kind of what do you make of him as an opponent?
Yeah, he actually was supposed to be on The Ultimate Fighter. So the week before we joined the house, we were all in a hotel, and I saw him there. But he didn't get voted into the house. They sent him back. And but yeah, I saw him in the elevator there, and I was like, oh, that's a weird build. And obviously, I watched him on the Contender Series. And I think it's a great matchup. You know, I kind of see it as an opportunity the UFC provides for the both of us, because if you look at all the other guys coming off the Ultimate Fighter, they get fights that are, yeah, I would say a little bit more meaningless. You know what I'm saying? I don't just this matchup. I feel like it's a big opportunity because he has something to his name. Me, obviously, also a little bit. I made kind of an impact on the show, so we're bringing this fan base and we're bringing there just a tiny little bit of name in this game to this matchup. But I'm excited for it that UFC gives me this big chance for my debut.
Well, you make a good point. You've both now built up a bit of a fan base. You went to the finale in Tough 32. He's been on the Contender Series a bunch of times, and that show does get quite the audience now. He made a quote the other day, actually, and he said on social media, actually, I think it was in an interview, he said, you know, there's less pressure making your UFC debut than there is on the Contender Series, because on the Contender Series, you have to put on a show, you got to perform, you got to push for that finish. Do you agree with that at all? Do you see it the same way?
No. I think now the journey has just started, and now the eyes are on us even more, and every time you should go out there and try to finish in a violent fashion, in a spectacular fashion, because that's what's carrying you in the career in long terms. Being out there and being boring or like, oh, now I made it, now I no more pressure, will will backfire quickly, I think, in the sport, because the sport is very short living, and people forget about you. Even about people who are winning but are not putting on exciting performances, they get, kind of left behind. So for me, I see it a little bit different. Now the journey just starts. So everything else was kind of the warm up, and now we're really getting to business.
Any added motivation in the fact that he's an undefeated fighter and you could become the first to take that O?
Oh, obviously, that's what I was saying when I meant like it's a big opportunity, and yeah, uh, that's a big motivation for me. Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you one more about the matchup. I believe he has 7 knockouts. You have 6 submissions. How are you viewing this fight stylistically?
Sometimes the records speak a complete different language than the actual fight style, right? Because he's more of a wrestler, a guy who wants to take it to the ground. Even though I have submissions, it's mainly because people try to take me down because they didn't want to stand with me. And definitely, so my background being judo, I'm a passionate grappler, but I love Muay Thai. I love the stand up. That's where I enjoy the fight the most. So I think it's more of a wrestler versus striker matchup, even though the record says something else. But yeah, for me, it's always I'm not gonna go out there and try to make it a grappling match, and that's never been my style of fighting. So I think it's a big stylistic matchup between wrestling and trying to keep it standing.
You mentioned loving Muay Thai. I imagine living in Bangkok, you almost have to love Muay Thai if you're in Thailand. When you look at that, how long ago did you go out there and to Thailand, and how far has your striking progressed?
So I'm living there now for 3 years, and I came out there as a complete striking rookie, I would say, and I started working with my striking coach there, Sammy Cassidy, who's a big Muay Thai coach, and yeah, we really kept working over those 3 years, step by step, to create this striking game that is slowly but surely starting to pay off in my fights, and we're evolving every camp a little bit further, and yeah, I think one of the best moves I ever did was going to Thailand and chasing that dream over there, because the real Muay Thai, the real Muay Thai experience you can only get in Thailand. And I also believe that Muay Thai translates so well into MMA, and it's been a huge impact on my career.
Well, very cool, very big move. I when I was in my younger days, I lived in Asia as well. I was in Japan, but a very big jump when you move, from one country to another, especially when you're moving across cultures like that. Talk to me a little though about Swiss MMA. I think a lot of fans know Volkan Ozdemir. They might know Stephanie Egger, but what's the Swiss MMA scene like now? And is it starting to grow? Because we've seen, the UK blow up, France blow up, Czech Republic starting to blow up now with Yuri and Octagon MMA and stuff. What's the Swiss scene like?
Yeah, the Swiss scene, yeah, it is a problem child. It is a problem child. Um, Switzerland has such a high quality of living that it's not the place that grows fighters, because besides the athletic abilities and the discipline, big factor is you have to be a fighter by your mindset, and if you're living in a country where everything is so safe, so secure, so high quality, you can have a good job and have a very good life, make a lot of money, and there's no, yeah, there's no reason to do all this stuff and struggle also financially, because a fighter in the first couple of years is just investing in himself, right? And we have a lot of talent in Switzerland. I have to say, like there are many young guys that are promising and they have talent and they really want it. It's just that it's so hard to grow as a fighter because the whole community is not there. So the training opportunities are not really there, and the support from the Swiss fans is still, very small. And it's I really hope that I can make an impact on it and bring more eyes to it in Switzerland, and also encourage the fans to be more supportive. But it is a problem child, I have to say. Yeah.
Well, hopefully that grows. The sports fan base grows there. It sounds like if you're going to do MMA in Switzerland, you've really got to love it. At the same time, what led you into a fighting career?
I've been a fighter since I'm a small kid. I was fighting my brothers and then my friends, and then in school I was fighting. I joined a judo club when I was young, and I always loved to compete. I love to train, and I love the competition, man versus man. And at one point, my friend told me, "Hey, you should try MMA," and I didn't know what it is. He took me to the gym. I loved it, and ever since it's been a journey. And I in the beginning I didn't think I would do this professionally. I would do this for a living, but turned out that I really enjoyed it and I was good at it. So I kept on doing it. But I would say everything started already when I was a child, because there was always this fighter dwelling inside of me.
You mentioned brothers. I'm an only child. I would have had the shadow box, but if you're the one who made it to the UFC, I imagine you won most of those fights?
No, because I was the youngest. I was actually getting beat up all the time. But now I'm the biggest. So now nobody, no, now they introduce me as their big brother. But I used to be the small one. Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? It taught you some lessons, obviously. Last one I'm going to ask you, Robert, and again, thank you very much for the time today. Obviously, a big fight, April 5th, UFC Vegas 105. Do you have a prediction for this fight? How do you see this playing out?
I don't want to give a prediction right now. I'm just gonna promise an entertaining fight, and you're gonna see a real Robzilla fashioned performance, which means go out there, be violent, and do everything to finish the fight, and no backing off, victory or Valhalla. And there will be no doubt that I love to be in there, and that I always look for a finish.
Awesome stuff. Robzilla Valentin, April 5th, UFC Vegas 105. Don't miss it. Rob, thanks again for the time today. Looking forward to the fight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Very welcome. You have yourself a great day.
Bye-bye. Thanks.